Physique assessment. The question our expert panel addresses is: how do you work with coaches to plan athlete assessment? Associate Professor Gary Slater.
Just like it's important to spend the time to educate an athlete in regards to body composition assessment and what it means, it's equally important to spend that time with coaches, to recognise it is only one of the components that may contribute to overall success. I've personally seen numerous situations where the poor performance of an athlete was ascribed to their body composition, and for mine probably inappropriately. The way to resolve that is to ensure that the coach has an appreciation of the parameters that we're looking at and its potential implications from a performance perspective. We also need to have dialogue with the coach so there's an understanding of the resources that are required to suitably assess the body composition of the athletes that they're working with. That could merely be an appreciation of the time that's necessary to be able to undertake high quality surface anthropometry assessment. Or it might be exploring the periodic assessment of body composition using some of these other techniques where we're interested in looking at absolute changes in fat and absolute changes in lean tissue. The coach needs to have an appreciation that how the athlete presents for the assessment also influences results. So we may have to schedule an early morning assessment for the athletes before they have a DEXA scan or before they have their bod pod assessment. And so we need to give consideration there to the weekly training cycle. And so maybe the one day of the week where the athletes are afforded an opportunity to sleep in every 6 to 8 weeks, 12 weeks, perhaps they're coming in for their assessment of body composition on that morning. Now they can still sleep in, but that might be the time that's allocated for them.
Dr. Kagan Ducker.
So as a sports physiologist, we would be part of the team that sits down at the start of a cycle and figure out exactly what training the athletes are going to be doing, but also figure out at what points we're going to be assessing them for all the different capacities that we're trying to adapt. And one of those is body composition. So we would have that mapped out from the very start of a cycle, figuring when are we going to expect to see changes or when might we see some negative changes, and we'll plan assessments in around there to try and track those changes that we want or that we don't want to be occurring at that time.
For further information on physique assessment, see our book, Best Practice Protocols for Physique Assessment in Sport, published by Springer.